Hey Reddit, throwaway account for obvious reasons. Honestly, I never thought I'd be that guy posting here. You read these stories and think, damn, sucks for him. Never expecting you'll be writing one yourself. I, 35M, have been with my wife, 32F, let's call her Rachel, for nearly 9 years. Married for 6. We met through friends at a Halloween party, both dressed ridiculously. I was a taco. She was a cat. Yeah, real original. She was loud, magnetic, and had that I own the room kind of confidence. I was quieter, more observant. But somehow it worked. We were that couple, the opposites attract cliché that actually made sense. We moved in together after a year, bought a house by year 3, had 2 dogs by year 4. We were a team. She'd call me her calm in the chaos, and I loved being that for her. We had our fights, who doesn't? But we always came back together. Or so I thought. The first sign was subtle. She started spending more time at work, late nights that turned into overnight stays because of early meetings. Her phone, once carelessly left on the counter, was now glued to her hand or face down on silent. She started wearing perfume to the grocery store, new lingerie I'd never see on her, gym memberships, personal training. Even though she used to laugh at gym rats, I tried to brush it off, told myself not to be that insecure husband. I mean, people change, right? Sometimes they just want to feel better about themselves. She'd say, you should be happy I'm taking care of myself again. And maybe she was right, but something in my gut twisted every time she walked out the door. Something told me she wasn't walking out alone. So here's where things started getting weird. It was honestly one of the strangest things I've ever seen. One night, she told me she had a client dinner at 7:30. It was with her firm's creative director and a new brand rep. Totally normal. She does this kind of thing all the time. I didn't think much of it. She even kissed me on the cheek on her way out, wearing this skin-tight black dress I hadn't seen before. I told her she looked stunning. She just smirked and said, don't wait up. I didn't, but around 11:15 p.m., I got this weird itch. Call it paranoia. Call it gut instinct. Call it the universe screaming. Open your damn eyes, man. I checked her location. Yeah, we still had location sharing on. She was about 10 minutes away, but parked. Not at a restaurant. Not even in the city. It was a residential neighborhood on the other side of town. I texted her. Me. Hey, how's the dinner? Rachel. 2 minutes later, just wrapping up. Traffic's bad. Be home soon. My stomach dropped. I stared at that little blinking dot on the map for 30 more minutes. Still, parked. Same damn spot. And that's when I did something I never thought I'd do. I drove there. Not proud of it. But something inside me snapped. Like, if I didn't know, I was going to lose my mind. So I got in my car, followed the location like a bloodhound, heart pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out behind the wheel. I pull up to this decent suburban house. No lights on. Her car is out front. I park across the street and just sit there, gripping the steering wheel like it could explain what the hell was happening. Then, at 12:03 a.m., the front door opens. Rachel walks out, not alone. He followed behind her. Tall guy, beard, t-shirt, no jacket. She was laughing at something he said. Not like a polite laugh, like the kind she used to do when we first started dating. That Rael laugh, like she was alive with him in a way I hadn't seen in months. They kissed, right there, under the porch light, like no one could possibly be watching. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. It felt like my body just stopped working. I watched her get in her car and drive off, never once looking around. She had no idea I was there. I stayed in my car for another 20 minutes. I don't know why. Maybe hoping I imagined it. Maybe hoping he'd come out and turn into a hallucination. But he didn't. He just went back inside like he'd done this before. She walked in the door at 12:45 a.m. Keys jingling like nothing had happened. I was sitting on the couch, lights off, just waiting. I didn't even plan what to say. I thought I'd scream or throw something. Instead, I just sat there, frozen, watching her kick off her heels like she hadn't just kissed another man an hour ago. She jumped a little when she saw me in the dark. Rachel. Jesus, babe, you scared me. What are you doing up? I didn't answer at first. I just stared at her. My heart was pounding again, but this time with a kind of cold clarity. Me. How was the dinner? She blinked. For a fraction of a second, I saw it panic. Then it was gone. And she slipped back into character like flipping a switch. Rachel. Good. Long, but good. Honestly, I'm exhausted. She walked toward the hallway like the conversation was over. Me. Funny. Because your dinner was at some guy's house in Maplewood. You know, the one you made out with on his porch. She froze. Completely. Froze. Didn't even turn around. Then slowly, and I swear, like she was auditioning for a drama role, she turned back, squinted at me, and said, Rachel, what are you talking about? I laughed. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, It was the kind of laugh that happens right before someone loses their king mind. Me. I followed your location. I saw you. With him. I watched you kiss him. Now here's where things got insulting. She looked me dead in the eye and said, Rachel. Oh my God, are you seriously spying on me now? Are you really that insecure? That's when I lost it. Me. Don't king flip this on me. Rachel. You lied. You weren't at a dinner. You were with him. Who the hell is he? She rolled her eyes. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck. Rachel. It's no one, okay? It's not what you think. I was just talking to a friend. I didn't want to tell you because I knew you'd blow it out of proportion like you are now. I stood up. Me. You kissed your friend on the mouth. Is that what we're doing now? Friendly mouth kisses at midnight. She walked to the bedroom and slammed the door. Like I was the one being unreasonable. I didn't follow her. I just stood there, completely hollow. I had caught her red-handed, and she still lied, still made me the problem. That was the first moment I realized. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't even scared. She had made peace with it, and I was just a speed bump in her new life. She slept in the bedroom. I didn't. I spent the rest of that night on the couch, just staring at the ceiling, not crying, not screaming, just completely numb, like my brain disconnected from my body and left me in autopilot mode. You ever feel that? That quiet emptiness where there should be rage, but it's too tired to show up? The next morning, she acted like nothing happened. Rachel, I have a 10 Zoom call. Can you walk the dogs? I swear to God. She said it like we hadn't just detonated our marriage 8 hours earlier, like I was some roommate who missed rent. No apology, no explanation, no let's talk, just cold detachment. I looked at her and didn't recognize the person in front of me. Same face, same voice, but not the woman I married. That woman would have broken down, tried to fix it, begged. This one was stone. That scared me more than the cheating. It wasn't guilt she was hiding, it was indifference. I took the dogs. I needed air. I needed space. The kind of space you don't come back from. And when I got back, she was gone. No note, no text, nothing. Later that day, she messaged me. Rachel, staying at a friend's for a bit. We both need time. Time? Time. Time to do what? Build a better alibi? I didn't respond. Not because I was being the bigger person. I just couldn't. Every word I wanted to say felt useless. What was the point? She knew what she did. I knew what she did. And the worst part? She didn't care. I kept replaying everything, the late nights, the new underwear, the gym selfies, the client meetings. It was all right in front of me, and I ignored it, because I wanted to believe she loved me the way I loved her. But love doesn't lie to your face. Love doesn't twist the knife and blame you for bleeding. It was 3 days of silence, 3 days of her getting space, and me pretending to function, feeding the dogs, answering emails, microwaving meals I didn't taste. My house didn't feel like mine anymore. Every room whispered something she'd said. Every surface reminded me where she'd sat. And the bed? I couldn't even look at it. On the 4th day, I opened her laptop. I wasn't proud of it. But when someone shatters your trust like that, morals become slippery. I wasn't looking for revenge. I was looking for truth. And I found it. Oh, boy. She hadn't logged out of her iMessage. Rookie mistake. Hundreds of messages. Same number. No name saved. Just a number. But the context? Clear as crystal. Her. He's so clueless it's almost sad. Him. You're too hot to be stuck with a guy like that. Her. He thinks I'm at spin class right now. Her. Last night was insane. My thighs are still sore. I wish I could tell you I closed the laptop and walked away with dignity. I didn't. I read everything. Every dirty, degrading line. Every inside joke. Every reference to me like I was some background character in her secret sitcom. And then I looked at myself in the reflection of the black screen. Red eyes. Greasy hair. Sunken face. I didn't look like a man. I looked like a ghost. That's when the rage came. Not the loud kind. Not the flip-a-table kind. No. This was a quiet, bitter burn. The kind that simmers under your ribs and starts eating away at who you were. I wasn't just mad at her. I was mad at me for not seeing it sooner. For trying so damn hard to be the good husband, the stable one, the guy who never snooped, never accused, never doubted. And what did it get me? A front row seat to my own humiliation. I shut the laptop, stood up, and said it out loud for the first time. I'm done. Once I said it, I'm done. Something shifted inside me. Like I'd finally broken through a wall I didn't realize I'd been pounding on for months. No more guessing. No more waiting for her to explain, to feel guilty, to wake up and fight for us. She wasn't coming back for the marriage. She already left it. So I started packing. At first, it felt surreal. Folding shirts we'd bought together, seeing framed pictures of us on trips that now felt like fiction. A life I thought was ours had really just been mine. She had already built a second one behind my back. I didn't tell her I was leaving. I didn't know her that. Instead, I called my brother, someone who had always had doubts about her, but kept them to himself out of respect. When I told him everything, he didn't say, I told you so. He just said, come stay with us, as long as you need. I boxed up what mattered: clothes, personal files, the dog stuff, my guitars, my dignity, or what was left of it. The rest? Let her have it. Let her keep the kitchen she never cooked in, the couch we never really cuddled on anymore, the bed that probably didn't even smell like me anymore. I found a lawyer that afternoon. Retainer fee, consultation, next steps. The man didn't blink when I told him about the cheating, just nodded and said, we'll make this clean. And the weirdest part? I felt relief. Not joy, not triumph, just a strange, painful relief, like finally pulling out a splinter that had been buried deep, festering. Later that night, she texted again. Rachel, hey, can we talk sometime this week? I think we need to figure out what this all means. I didn't reply. I wasn't going to figure out anything with someone who figured me out of their life a long time ago. It took her 2 full days to realize I wasn't coming back with an apology. She must have come home to the half-empty closet and missing guitar case. I imagine she walked into the bedroom, saw the drawers yanked open, and for the first time in this entire mess panicked. That night, my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. Rachel, where are you? Rachel, can we please talk? Rachel, I think we're both acting impulsively. Rachel, this doesn't have to be permanent. Rachel, I'm sorry. I didn't respond. A few hours later, around 1 a.m., she called. I let it ring out. She called again and again. Then she left a voicemail. I didn't even listen to it until the next morning, sipping coffee at my brother's kitchen counter like a man who'd just come back from war. She sounded desperate, but not remorseful. There's a difference. I don't know what you think you saw, but it's not what it looked like. I made a mistake, but don't throw us away over one stupid night. You said you'd always fight for us. The manipulation was baked in. She couldn't even own it. One stupid night. I read months of messages. This wasn't a one-off mistake. It was a series of decisions, selfish, intentional, and cruel. But here's the kicker. She never once asked, how are you? Or what do you need? It was all about her. Her fear of being alone, her guilt management, her image, and maybe the most insulting part? She thought I'd come crawling back, like I always had, like I was still the same guy who looked past red flags just to keep the peace. But I wasn't him anymore. I had nothing left to give a woman who saw me as disposable. If you think she kept this mess between us, oh no, you don't know Rachel. A mutual friend texted me a few days after I left. Hey man, sorry to hear about everything. Didn't know you were having such a hard time. I blinked. What hard time? So I called him, and what he told me. She was already spinning the narrative. She told our friends that I'd been distant for months, that I was struggling mentally and had emotionally checked out, that I left her, that I walked out because I couldn't handle the stress of marriage. And the best part? She framed it all like she was some heartbroken, abandoned wife doing her best to stay strong. Said she still loved me, but you can't help someone who won't help themselves. I was fuming. She wasn't just lying. She was weaponizing my silence. She knew I wouldn't go around airing dirty laundry, knew I wouldn't stoop to her level, and she was using that to play the victim. I don't think I've ever been angrier than I was reading texts from people who genuinely believed I'd given up on her. But here's the thing. I didn't go full scorched earth. I didn't make a post, or send screenshots, or call every friend with the truth. I picked 2 people, close, honest, mutual friends, and told them everything. I showed them the texts, the location history, the messages. I didn't embellish or dramatize. I just gave them the truth. You know what they said? Holy sh**T. We had no idea. She made it sound like you were spiraling. They were stunned. And that's all I needed. Not revenge. Just confirmation that I wasn't insane. That someone else saw her mask slip. Word got around after that. Slowly, people started pulling away from her. I didn't ask them to. I didn't rally a squad. The truth did all the work. About a week after the dust started settling, after I'd moved out, gone mostly no contact, and started planning for divorce, I got a DM on Instagram from him. The guy she cheated with. No mutual friends. I didn't even know his name until I saw the profile. Generic bio. Gym selfies. A caption that actually said, no regrets, just reps. Real philosopher. The message? Hey man, I didn't know she was married. I'm sorry. At first, I laughed out loud. I actually startled my brother, sitting across the room. Because of course he didn't know, right? Of course she fed him the same lies she fed me, just from the other side of the glass. I didn't respond at first, but then I thought, screw it, let's hear it all. So I messaged back. When did it start? And the guy spilled. They'd met at her gym about 6 months ago. She told him she was separated but still living with her ex for financial reasons. She said I was controlling, that I was emotionally unavailable, that she hadn't been touched in over a year. He thought I was gone long before he showed up. They'd been seeing each other weekly, at his place, in hotel rooms, sometimes even in our house when I was on business trips or late-night deployments. My fucking house, our bed, He apologized again. If I'd known the truth, I would have never touched her. I'm sorry you had to go through this. And I believed him, not because I trusted him, but because the puzzle pieces fit too perfectly. And Rachel? She was the only common denominator in every single lie. That message didn't bring me peace, but it did bring me clarity. She hadn't just cheated physically. She'd rewritten our entire story to justify it. Made me a villain in her fake little narrative so she could play the hero in her own twisted drama. I held off as long as I could. Ignored her texts, her calls, her, please just give me 5 minutes. But eventually, I said yes. Not because I wanted closure. I'd already found mine. Not because I thought she'd say something to fix it. There was nothing she could say. I just wanted to see if she'd finally stop lying. If she'd own even one part of the wreckage she caused. We met in a neutral place, a coffee shop, midday, public enough that things couldn't get dramatic. She walked in looking exactly like the woman I married and nothing like the one I left. Calm, composed, almost calculated. She sat across from me like we were negotiating a business deal. Rachel, thank you for coming. I didn't say anything. I just waited. She started in with the usual crap. I know I hurt you. I made a mistake. I was in a dark place. Blah, blah, blah. Then came the Oscar-worthy line. You have to understand, I didn't cheat because I stopped loving you. I cheated because I felt like you stopped loving me. I stared at her, blinked. Me. So it's my fault. Got it. She scrambled, backpedaled. No, that's not what I meant. But it was, and we both knew it. Then came the kicker. Rachel, can we try therapy? I think we could rebuild. I'm willing to fight for us now. Now, not when I was begging her to talk. Not when I asked what was wrong, week after week, while she said everything was fine. Not when I was cooking dinners alone, sleeping next to a body that rolled away from mine. She only wanted to fight once she realized she lost. I looked her dead in the eyes. Me. I fought for us. While you were sleeping with someone else. Silence. She blinked fast, maybe trying to force tears that weren't coming. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something, but didn't, and I stood up. That was the last time I ever saw her in person. The day we signed the divorce papers wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't even emotional in the way you'd expect. It was just quiet. We met at her lawyer's office. Neutral territory. No shouting. No tears. No, I still love you, from across the room. Just documents. Dead words on paper. And the two of us sitting a few feet apart like strangers in a waiting room. I brought my own pen. I don't know why that detail matters, but it does. I think it was my way of saying, I'm in control now. I get to choose this ending. She wore a white blouse, like she was headed to brunch afterward. No ring on her finger. She didn't look at me once. The lawyer walked us through everything, division of property, bank accounts, the house. I let her keep it. I didn't want to live in a place filled with ghosts. No kids, thank God. Nothing to bind us but paperwork. When it came time to sign, I hesitated. Just a second. Not because I doubted it. I didn't. But because I could feel everything in that moment crashing in at once. Every birthday we spent in that house. Every lazy Sunday morning. Every time I said, I love you, and meant it. All of it condensed into one black line where my name was supposed to go. And I signed. She signed next. Quick. Like she was checking off a to-do list. Then she stood, nodded at her lawyer, and walked out. No goodbye. No glance back. Just gone. It didn't hurt like I thought it would. It felt like waking up from anesthesia. Groggy, numb, but aware that something painful had been removed. And maybe, finally, the healing could start. You know what's weird? The first few nights after she left, back when things were unraveling, I couldn't sleep. I'd lie in bed in my brother's guest room, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment like some sick highlight reel. But the night I signed those papers, I slept. Not because I was okay. Not because I'd moved on, but because the weight of pretending was finally gone. No more checking my phone wondering if she was lying. No more waiting for footsteps that never came home. No more walking on eggshells around a woman who had already emotionally checked out. I didn't have to guess anymore, and that gave me something I hadn't had in months. Peace. I ordered a pizza, cracked a beer, put on the most mindless show I could find, and just existed. No one to impress. No tension in the room. Just me, my dogs, and the quiet hum of the TV. And for once, the silence didn't feel like loneliness. It felt like space, like breath, like I could finally stretch without worrying about bumping into someone else's disappointment. At one point, I laughed at a dumb joke on TV, just a little chuckle, and then I froze, because it was the first real sound I'd made in days that wasn't anger or exhaustion. It hit me that I was still in pain, but I was healing, and healing doesn't always roar. Sometimes it sounds like a man eating pizza in his boxers, watching trash TV, and finally not giving a damn. It didn't happen all at once. There was no dramatic transformation montage where I hit the gym, got a six-pack, shaved my beard, and dated a yoga instructor. That's not real life. Real healing is slower, messier, quieter, But one morning, I woke up and realized I hadn't thought about her in 2 whole days. That used to be impossible. She was always there, in the background noise, in the silence, in the empty seat next to me. But suddenly, she was just gone from my mind, like a song I used to have stuck in my head, finally fading out. I got back into the things I loved, things I hadn't done in months because I was too busy unraveling emotionally. I played guitar again, went hiking, started meal prepping, not out of sadness, but because I actually wanted to feel good. I called up friends I hadn't seen in a year, not because I needed to vent, but because I missed laughing like an idiot over beer and wings. And the craziest part? I started liking who I saw in the mirror, not because I looked different, but because I was standing a little straighter. Eyes weren't so hollow. I wasn't carrying the constant weight of suspicion, shame, confusion. I saw me again. The guy I was before I spent months trying to fix what someone else was quietly destroying. And that guy? He deserved better. Sometimes I wonder what I'd say if she stood in front of me now. Not in some angry, screaming match. Not in some dramatic, win her back moment. Just, civil, human. I think I'd say, you didn't just cheat on me. You dismantled the version of myself I was building with you. I'd tell her how I blamed myself at first, how I obsessed over every moment, wondering if I was too boring, too quiet, too safe, how I checked my flaws like a grocery list, trying to see which one pushed her away. And then I'd say, you could have left, but you chose betrayal instead of honesty, cowardice instead of closure. I'd tell her I saw all the lies, the way she twisted my loyalty into weakness, the way she repainted herself as the victim, while I bled quietly in a corner no one was supposed to notice. And then, I'd thank her, not because I forgive her, not yet, maybe not ever, but because she forced me to rebuild without her. Because when she blew up the life I thought we were living, she unknowingly handed me the bricks to start something better. I'd look her right in the eyes and say, you freed me by destroying me. I just didn't know it at the time. And then I'd walk away, not bitter, not broken, just done. So here I am, months later, no wife, no house, no more lies echoing through my brain like background static. Just me, 2 dogs who never left my side, and a version of myself that I actually respect. I've thought a lot about what I'd tell someone going through what I did. Here it is, plain and simple. Trust your gut. You're not paranoid. You're not crazy. You know when something's off. You just don't want it to be true, and that's what they count on. Love doesn't require you to shrink. If you're constantly explaining your worth, begging for connection, or excusing red flags, you're not in love. You're in survival mode. Cheating isn't a mistake. It's not a slip. It's not a one-time thing. It's 1,000 little decisions that someone makes knowing damn well what the consequences are, and doing it anyway. And finally, losing someone who betrayed you isn't a loss. It's a release. I thought I'd be broken forever. I thought I'd never trust again. But here's the truth. I didn't lose everything. I lost her, and she was never the everything I thought she was. The real me, the one who bends but doesn't break, who fights but knows when to walk away, that guy. He was there the whole time. I just had to get far enough from the wreckage to see him clearly. The end.